He's not here yet.
Hi, Marcus. Benjamin Sabgir. Yitzhak Fuchs. Zvi Fisher.
Yeah.
Yoshua Friedman.
Here.
Noach Kahn. Michael Kova.
Ken.
Aryeh Ross.
Aryeh
Yovo
Ross is...
Stark.
No. It's too quiet. I haven't made videos in months, so like, why not?
What's your name?
Yona.
You know what? What?
You called him already.
You know what? You know what?
Well, he's not here.
How much are is really here?
Ooh.
They don't teach a philosophy course.
Business program.
They actually do, but it's not.
Did I give you homework up to now?
No.
Just don't know passwords.
How do you want us to answer?
Happy, you're happy.
We say yes.
We're going well.
This is our last class before
That's fine.
Pesach.
You know how exhausting it is to do all this?
16th class?
What?
16th class?
We don't have classes.
Next Tuesday we don't. It's elections.
Next Tuesday's elections.
What after that space operation? You got it?
Election day? Election day on Chinese.
I had my macro calorie for my friends. They're like,
I'm getting it.
I want to see Mayor. We're getting to Mayor.
Never answered my Google back.
Now you're going to
What? To record the screen? Why? What's it called? The class next door, they're recording the screen. I'm not recording you, I'm recording the screen. Are you messing with me? Can I record the screen? Thank you.
Sequel to the most popular game on night.
Nice.
This game bothers her.
Okay.
Try to transfer your later.
So here's the deal. I thought we would have class last week. And then I would have given you homework until this week, and then this week give you homework for Pesach.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have 2 homeworks to do
Oh man.
during Pesach. But
Yeah, let's get I'm good actually. We'll get
One
let's
second.
get a bus, let's go.
since I'm giving you 2 at once, I will give you the solution of the first one. And here's another but. Those, from my experience, those who spend the time to work on these exercises pass Moedat. Those who don't, depends who you are and how good you are. But usually if you spend the time, and it will take you time, I'm telling you in advance, it will take you time to figure out how to do it, and, but it's worth the effort, because once you figure it out yourself, then you will come to the next classes, which get a bit more complicated at the advanced part of the semester. You will have the, the tools to understand and work through the rest of the course. So I suggest, even though I'm giving you the solution of the first one, try real hard to work on it yourself. And only after you do, go and look at the solution. And in any event, make sure that you come to the first class after Pesach when you understand and know how to do all the exercises. Now, I don't mind if you work in couples or triplets if you want. The Jewish way of learning is Chavruta. I think it's a very good tradition which proved itself. So I do advise work together, and if you give in the same work, it's fine. The most important thing is make sure that you understand how to do it, and don't rely on that your Chavruta knows how to do it, because that won't help you in the test. Okay? So in the Moodle you would see VBA exercise 1 and exercise 2 with upload boxes. The upload boxes are probably out of date. Don't mind the dates on them. Just make sure that till the first class after Pesach you uploaded your work onto the into these boxes, and more important, you understand exactly how to do it. Now let's spend a bit of time to show you a few things that you would need in order to solve these exercises. Okay. Someone had a question before, now's the time. Someone like that?
I don't have a question anymore, thank you.
And usually when you have patience and wait through the explanation, the question is no longer there, but yeah.
So when you're talking about it says topic 3, the 2 Excel files, that's the homework? That's the homework?
No, in topic 3 there's VBA exercise 1, that's the homework, and there's upload of homework 1, that's the box where you upload it, and there's the VBA exercise 1 solution with the S, that's the solution. Okay, and then there's a VBA exercise 2 in EN, English, that's the second exercise, and the upload.
Where's the solution for the first one?
76S.
The Excel.
76SS.
And the second homework's in a different file, right? Because meaning the DBA example 1 is in a Word file, and the second one
Exercise 1.
is in a Word file, and the second one's in a. Okay. Let's try and see that. I need nothing to change.
Got it?
Which one is it?
This is the homework? The solution? This is second homework.
Homework, solution, homework.
Write it down in the notebook. That's what I did. There's no one gonna remember.
No, because my model is not working
Still?
this week apparently.
What's wrong with him?
With Cashbon.
I don't know. Just because I'm dealing with all this, could you ask someone to send you the what's called the worksheet this time on email? Because I'm just dealing with all this stuff at once. Right, thanks.
Don't lie to me, man.
I didn't listen to your voice.
Now, one more thing before we go into the class, into the material. I spoke with Mickey about the class last week, and we will have to make it up sometime, as well as the class of next week, which is canceled because of the elections. Okay, so I will work out with Mickey towards the end of the semester a time where we'll make it up. And
I do like after Pesach vacation once everyone's come back.
yeah, towards the end of the semester, and we'll have to make up
No
at
problem.
least the most that time, if we succeed to cover the material without all of that time, so we won't.
Baruch is here. He just came. Baruch Hapistor.
So we don't have class next week because of
We don't have class next week because of elections, and from then afterwards.
Make sure.
According to the schedule they sent us, we have class on the 16th because I booked my flight on that day because that was the last day of classes. I have flight 11:55 in
The 16th, I have to check.
Okay, so maybe we do. I'm not sure.
Yeah. If we don't, then I would have booked my flight the week before. Could be that they've changed it since then, which would be probably helpful, I guess.
I have to find out for sure.
That means this Friday we have to go. I'm sorry, next Friday.
Next Friday.
we
I have to check with Abba again.
Okay.
do. Apparently.
Not today, but just don't die.
No.
No?
I can do that. No, they sent an email to me.
The American program is extended.
It's okay, I booked my flight before. It's fine, it's better than the other way around. Right? You don't make it bigger.
I know, then we'll make it bigger. I'll make it bigger.
Okay, so this is what we did the last time we met. Okay? Let's just go over this quick. For 1 second. Right, this is the last thing we did.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go through this quickly in a minute, but I want to show you a few shortcut keys that would be useful for you when you go ahead and solve the first exercise. Okay, so first, if I press Control, I'm now in cell A1. Okay, A1 is selected. This is the active cell. If we start speaking with VBA language, okay? If I press Control Shift and the right arrow, it would select all of the cells that are consecutive full, okay? So it went all the way up to F1, and then it stopped because over here it's an empty cell, okay? If I stand on A1 and I just press on Control and the right arrow, I go and I jump from the cell I was to the last cell that is full consecutively. Okay?
You got it eventually.
So again, if I press Control and the arrow left, I go to A1 because all of the cells are full. If I press and Control Shift and arrow down, I will select all of these until the empty cell. Okay? So that's one useful shortcut. Okay? Another useful shortcut is, let's say I delete over here a few cells, Now, if I go to home, go to special, okay? Over here, I can choose all kinds of cells that has, according to all kinds of different categories. For instance, I can choose all the cells that have comments, or all the cells that have constants, as opposed to formulas. Or I can choose all the cells that have formulas, and then I can choose what kind of formulas I want. I can choose all the blank cells, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay? So I'm in A1. Excel will automatically recognize all of the active part of the sheet, meaning all of the places where I'm up to the last row and up to the last column that I worked in this sheet, and will just select all of the blanks. Okay, so here it selected all of these blanks and also these two that are in the table, and now I can do whatever I want with these. Okay.
What's an example of something you do with that?
If you control Z, will it put
I
it
don't
back
care.
and forth?
Like, what can I do with the left anything? Colors and like.
Okay, so if I write over here 45 and shift enter, I can go and just go from one to the other and fill them up with whatever I want. That's for instance. Okay? It helps you to automatically focus or select all of the cells that have a specific attribute and do something with them.
And you do that by pressing what again? Like what
How did I
do you have to
select them?
what do you go to? Just find
Go to special, and over here I can choose different attributes that I want to select according to. Okay, so that's another thing. And one more thing would be, if I go over here and I do sum, it will give me the sum of these cells. And if I go over here and I drag this over here, it gives me the sum of these cells, and this gives me the sum of these cells. Now, if I copy and paste these someplace else, what would I get?
No, you get error. It wouldn't work.
No, I get 0. Why? Because now it's calculating the sum of the 1, 2, 3, 4 cells above, which are empty or have text or whatever, and therefore it's 0. But what if I want to get these numbers without the formula? Okay? How do I do that? So over here in the paste, I have paste values. Okay, paste values means I can paste the value of the formula without the formula itself. When I press over here, I get the 759 and 323. But see over here, it's not a formula, it's just a number, as opposed to here, where it is a formula, meaning if I change anything over here, the value over here changes, this stays the same. Okay? So those are some shortcuts or some special features that could help you do all kinds of things while you're recording macros. Okay? Because we said recording macros, if you want to continue, like if you want to go from the cell that you are till the last cell that has values, when you're recording, you press Control and the down arrow, and you get to the last cell. Now, if you recorded that, then next time when you run the macro and you have here 255 rows full, you will still go to the last value. Okay, as opposed to going to D5, you would go to the last value that you have in that column. Okay, so this is very useful when you want to do macros. Okay, so those are a few things that you would need when you're solving exercise 1, which is mostly, or I think all, macro recording, but it comes to show you all kinds of different things that you could do by just recording macro without even going into the VBE, Visual Basic Editor, and writing any code. Okay, that's exercise 1. Exercise 2 already involves code. Okay? And in exercise 2, what you would need is to know how to write message boxes and how to get values from the users and how to get values from the sheet and how to output values into the sheet into specific places. Okay? And that's what we're going to go through right now. Okay? So let's just remember quickly what we did over here. So sub and end sub we already know. This is starting a subroutine or a macro, and and you give it a name, and you have these automatically added, these parentheses, which we're not going to deal with right now, but we will see that they do have some kind of a meaning later on in the semester. Okay, what am I doing over here in this line code line?
Line of code.
Setting your basic parameters, like what are the functions that are going to happen?
Not functions and not parameters. What am I doing here?
What's called?
Declaring what?
Not the, like, what's gonna be, like, inside of it, like the characters or the numbers or the letters.
Macros are going to be activated.
Not macro.
Forgot the word for it. The type.
The type of what? I also declare over here the type of my variables. Or mishtanim. Variables because they change. I could put in their value and then change the value as I go along, and the purpose of these are the same as my memory. Okay, I put over here things, I store in here things that I want to remember or use later on in the program. Okay, how many variables did I declare over here? 3 variables. I gave them the names. Okay, the name I'm reminding you, str is just for the programmer to give him a hint that this would be a string. And over here, as string is declaring the type of the variable, and str username is the name of this variable. Okay, int is a shortcut of an integer, and yob is the name, and int h as integer is my third variable. Okay, now what am I doing over here in this line of code?
Asking for an input for the variable.
Okay, anyone else? Or all of you are still sleeping or don't remember anything, or just
This one over here. You're what's it called? You're inputting the value into the variable.
what will happen when I run this line of code? Input box will pop up a window which will allow the user to enter a value in it. What will happen to this value?
It gets
What's it called?
Another question.
What?
You put it in, it gives you another question.
What will happen to the value that the user will enter in the input box?
Please enter your name.
It'll give you an answer of that. Like tell you what it is. That's what it's named. If your name is, they're going to tell you your name.
It saves it
Saves it where?
as an integer because we know it.
So where would it save it?
To the memory.
In the input box.
Anywhere that you can see str username in the code is now going to be replaced with.
Right, into my variable, which is called str username. Okay? So what I'm doing over here is I'm giving a command to open a window, which will have a place where the user can put in data. This data will go into the variable that is called str username, and later on, when I will want to recall on this data, I would use the name of the variable in order to recall this data and use it. Questions?
It means every single
Okay.
time you use it again, you're going to be writing str username every single time after we've defined what this variable is. And it's going to do the exact same
Every
thing.
time I want to use the data that's in the memory of this variable, I would have to use its name. Just like if I want to get an answer from Mickey, I have to say Mickey and he will answer it, right? Okay, what happens in this line of code?
The next one? It's the same thing, just you're putting an integer this time. A number and not a word.
Window will pop out and ask for another piece of data, and the other piece of data will go into a different variable, which is called int yob, right?
Yeah.
And anytime I will want to use or recall this data, I will have to use the name of the variable, and I will be able to recall on it. Okay? What happens over here?
That's the integer that goes into the Fleischmann of your bird box.
Now it's calculating what's it called? It's calculating what how your age.
1 second, 1 second. I have a feeling that I'm talking here to 3 or 4 or 5 students, and all the rest are either busy with other things or don't know what's going on here. So please raise your hand, and I want to see how many of you are really with me and understand what we're doing, what's going on over here, because this is the whole meaning of the course, to be able to write or read the code and understand what's going on. Okay, so the 5 hands that I was thinking about went up. Okay, so all the rest don't know what this line of code does?
We did do 2 weeks ago, so they won't be able to remember.
Yeah, well, this is bad news for all of those who are not here right now, because not here physically, but not here with us, with the program. Okay, so we'll go through this again. I'll show you a trick how you can go through the program line by line and see exactly what it does. But all of those who are not with us right now, please go over the exercises and go over the material during Pesach, because I don't want to see you in Moed Bet, and I definitely don't want to see you in next year course. Okay? And this is a very friendly warning that this might happen if you don't. Okay. So I'm inside my program, and I'm going to start using the F8 button. Okay? When I press F8, it's telling the compiler to run my program in the break mode, which means you do each line at a time, and you stop. It's not like running the whole program from the beginning to the end, but each line by itself. So I pressed F8, and you can see over here that it points this in yellow, and it will start with this line. And if I hover over my different variables, it will give me their value. Okay, so right now, there's no